Then in 1954, I became the state chairman of the Democratic Party and served there for about maybe 6 or 8 months, maybe a year almost. And we worked with Governor Boggs on numerous things to get done, but we came along to the point where they wanted to rip the highway away from the Republicans, because, as Cale referred to the time, back in 1954, the Republicans only had, I think, 5 members out of 35 in the House, and probably they only had about maybe 6 out of 17 in the Senate, or maybe 5 out of 17. I've forgotten, but they really lost badly in 1954 because of the school integration problem. So I was chairman at that time, and the Democrats began to feel their oats, and they wanted very much to rip the highway department away from the governor by stacking it with maybe an extra 4 or 5 members. Well, I opposed that concept because I felt that the governor was the chief executive officer, and it was up to him to administer the affairs of the estate. And so I resigned as state chairman at that time, and they put another state chairman in, and it turned out that the ripping the highway department was not the best thing for the state of Delaware, because certain things arose, certain corruption conditions arose, which if they had been a response, the highway had been under the administration, I don't think would ever have happened. But at any rate, when I did run for governor in 1960, they brought that issue up about the highway department. I think one of the things that helped me get elected that year was the fact that I said, well, I oppose this concept of what was happening in the highway department, so you can look other directions, because I certainly had no part of that. One of the things we did during my second term as governor was to work very hard for planning in the state. This is when we put together the planning department of the state of Delaware, and incidentally, I think this is one of the few bills that passed unanimously in both houses when it was a new concept, but they liked what was going on. Another thing we did was to provide for a goals commission. Incidentally, Governor Peterson was part of that goals commission, and we had numerous people from all over the state who were distinguished Democrats and Republicans, and this was a bipartisan group who all they cared about was to think about which direction should Delaware take, what should we be doing that we're not doing. And of course, one of the things I recommended was this problem of a planning commission. In addition, of course, we passed the important legislation for the correctional facilities, which were landmark legislation, which was landmark legislation, and Governor Peterson was very prominent in helping to get that done. He worked for the 3S committee, and we were able to accomplish that step forward. But we were fortunate during these 8 years that the state was growing, the state was prosperous. We had one of the highest per capita incomes in the country. We were able to build the schools we wanted to build, to pay the teachers what we wanted to pay them, and we were able to get accomplished a lot. When I was on the diocesan council of the Episcopal Church, we used to have a budget someplace around about maybe 150, 200,000, and of course the church was trying to do all these good works. But as governor, we started out with a budget, I think, of someplace around 25 million, and with the first term we ended up with about 55 million. Second term we started out with around about maybe 125 million, and ended up with about 175 million. One of the things I realized as governor, you had the opportunity to do a great deal of good for the people of your state, and that's a great challenge and a great opportunity.